Welcome to WARtv. My name is Sam and I'm going to talk you through a recent battle my vampires fought against the Dark Elves of my friend and enemy Richard. The game was played out at the 2000 points level, and here's a shot during our pre-game sequence. We've laid out the scenery. That's two forests quite close together, a building, a hill, a graveyard counting as difficult terrain, and a small temple which is simply light cover for anything standing inside. The deployment phase, we've got the Vampire General in the Grave Guard unit, just visible here, a Vampire Battle Standard in the skeletons next to him, and in the other skeletons on the left hand side, a Vampire Hero. The Dark Elves have a Pegasus Riding Hero, a Hero level Infantryman, who is the General in the Black Guard unit, and a Scroll Caddy level 1 sorcerer tucked in behind. The highlights of the deployment are really the left flank, as we look at it, where the pace of the Vargolves and the Black Knights should be able to break through the archery of the High Elves, the token archery over there. While on the right side, the Dark Elves have focused nearly all their points together within the tight coverage of the Ring of Hotep, presumably to cause danger to the Vampire Lord and his casting abilities. The shades in the more central forest, clearly holding an assassin at this point, threaten the Vampire Lord himself and force him to maybe move further than he'd want to, away from the centre. And as ever, the Hydra himself operates as a strong bulwark to make any movement between the left and right halves of the board awkward. And the battle begins. Right, here we see the situation after the first Vampire Count's turn has finished. The Lord over here on the right has moved forwards along with the rest of the battle line and tried to cast Fiery Blast from his Forbidden Lore into the repeater bolt thrower. He found he was fractionally out of range and pretty much wasted his dice this turn. The Battle Standard Bearer next to him, Van Hell's Dance Macabre, moved him forwards just to keep that unit away from the threat of the assassin within the Shades unit. Out on our left, the flankers have moved forwards to threaten the hill, and a fresh unit of zombies has been raised in the centre of the battlefield. That unit really wanted to be increased in size, but the Dark Elves dispelled further invocations. And the situation after the Dark Elf first turn, the march blockers have flown out to halt my right flank, and everything else opened fire. Sometimes these Dark Elf shooting phases feel really relentless. 7 Graveguard fell to the volleys from the right flank. The unbarded Black Knights at the top were reduced to just the Standard Bearer, and the freshly birthed unit of zombies in the centre were fried by the Hydra. I think I put them too close, really. I should have kept them further away so that I could raise more into them and create a decent sized unit before they engaged. For my second vampire turn, the Vargos has now dropped short of catching the Dark Riders that have fled his charge at the top. The Black Knight Standard Bearer failed to wound the repeater bolt thrower crew and remained in combat, while the wolves up at that end have just been sent out to slow down the Hydra, maybe delay him a turn or so. On the right hand side, I should have moved the Graveguard block onto the temple to receive the cover from the shooting, but laziness kind of got to me. I was unwilling to deal with the hassle of organising a movement tray amongst those pillars, so wheeled round it and ended up creating a horrible logjam that delayed my combat Battle Standard Bearer emerging by at least a turn. The magic phase with another blowout. Overexcited about being in range this turn, I threw a fireball with the Dark Riders and rolled a double 3. The Ring of Hotep flashed a miscast, and the magic phase was over before I'd really got going, which is a huge disappointment at this point. Here we are after the Dark Elf turn. The shooting phase this time focused on the graveyard again, reducing them to just 4 models and the Vampire Lord, and even he had suffered 2 wounds himself. The Black Knight won his combat on the hill and has pursued behind the Dark Elf line, though notably he's well away from a vampire to resurrect his buddies at this stage. The Hydra has only managed to burn 2 wolves, the cavalry bases enabling wolves to avoid the fire on simple fact that the flame template is nearly always hitting them on a partial. Oh dear, another turn, another mess up. After healing the vampire and his unit, I cast Van Hels on them. The intention had been to move forwards and to clear the jam that was building on that flank, but as Richard assumed I was charging the Dark Riders in the temple, he mentioned this, and then I had a crazy moment where that suddenly seemed a good idea. So I called the charge in the magic phase, which he fled, and obviously left the Graveguard side wide open to the approaching Blackguard. Oof. The Graveguard are actually where the white dice mark a square on the temple. Their tray didn't fit in cleanly, so that's how we got round that. On the top, the Hydra has charged at the Dark Riders, who have fled through the graveyard, leaving the Hydra once again with a failed charge. And beyond that, my only movement was to create worse jam down the right. It's not looking nice. Combat has hit. The Blackguard and Shades, including the Assassin, and the Pegasus riding hero have all charged the Graveguard, and you can see what happened there. The Graveguard themselves were wiped out, and the Lord himself has survived with 1 wound. That came about through a lucky series of events. The Lord himself being on that right-hand edge of the unit probably saved my bacon. He's wearing the Night Shroud, so he always strikes before even the always strikes first equipped Blackguard. 3 Blackguard had declared to attack him, so they had their initiative reduced to 1, lost the always strikes first and the charge bonus, so the Lord could then put his attacks onto them, killing them all, which included the champion, thus saving an awful lot of potential combat resolution. Still, he sat there with 1 wound in quite a nasty multiple combat. Things are still not looking good. Elsewhere, shooting has started to focus on the larger skeleton unit holding the battle standard bearer, and the Hydra has finished off those wolves. Having